All right, so you know how people always lump belief and faith together?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
But are they really the same thing?
That's a good question.
Well, that's what we're going to untangle today in this deep dive,
Love it.
pulling those threads apart.
Yeah.
We're diving into a podcast episode, you shared it with me, called Exploring Belief and Faith, The Power Within.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're not going to rehash the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're going straight for the gold.
Straight for the good stuff.
The insights that will actually help you level up.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're the kind of person who wants to understand these concepts deeply.
Yes.
But also quickly.
Yeah. We're going to go beyond just defining them and actually look at how belief and faith show up in your life.
Okay.
And especially how they can help you achieve those big, ambitious goals that you might have.
Goals, huh?
Goals.
All right, you got my attention.
All right.
Let's break it down.
Yeah, let's do it.
First, the podcast episode starts by defining belief as a conviction that something is true.
Okay, makes sense.
Which makes sense, right? It's based on your experiences,
Yeah.
your culture, what you've been taught.
Right.
Like, I believe the sky is blue because, well, I've seen it.
Yeah. It's funny because it seems like such a basic concept, belief.
Right.
But the episode actually makes this really interesting point.
Like,
They say that a lot of our beliefs, even the ones that feel totally rock solid, they can actually change. And get this, they argue that many of our beliefs are shaped by these unconscious biases or even just cultural narratives that we've just absorbed without even realizing it.
Oh, wow.
Pretty mind-blowing, wouldn't you say?
Wait, so you're telling me the things I believe might not be totally objective?
Yeah.
That some of my beliefs could actually be influenced by things I'm not even aware of?
That's the idea.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So does this mean I can actually change my beliefs?
That's what they're suggesting.
Because that would be huge.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to self-doubt and those pesky limiting beliefs
Yes.
that hold us back.
Absolutely. And the episode really dives into that.
Okay.
They actually use the example of overcoming self-doubt
Mm-hmm.
to show how we can rewire those negative beliefs about ourselves.
Okay.
It's not about, denying reality.
Right.
It's about questioning those deep-seated assumptions that might be holding us back.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all ties into, personal growth and stuff.
Absolutely.
But it also sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it can be.
Where does faith fit into all this?
Well, the episode makes a really interesting distinction between belief and faith.
Okay.
They say that faith goes beyond just believing something is true.
Okay.
It's about trust and commitment.
Okay.
Even when there are no guarantees, think about it.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken a leap of faith?
Oh, absolutely.
Done something where the outcome was totally uncertain?
Yeah. Starting this podcast was a huge leap of faith for me.
Really?
It felt terrifying and exhilarating all at the same time. I had no idea if it would work out.
Right.
But I had this, gut feeling that I had to try.
And that's a perfect example of what they're talking about.
Okay.
They argue that faith, whether it's faith in yourself, in other people, or even in something bigger, like a higher power, it's that driving force that helps us move forward.
Right.
Especially when things feel risky or uncertain.
So it's like belief is the foundation.
Yes.
And then faith is what gives us the courage to build something on top of that foundation.
Exactly.
Even if we don't have all the blueprints.
I love that analogy.
That's a cool way to think about it.
And the episode gives some really cool examples. They talk about artists and entrepreneurs who took these huge risks and achieved these incredible things, all because they had this unwavering faith in their vision. They were willing to put themselves out there,
Right.
not knowing if it would work,
Right.
but trusting that it would all somehow come together.
That's amazing. I love that.
Right.
It's like, even if you don't have all the answers,
Yeah.
faith gives you the fuel to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
It's like instead of saying, I don't know if this will work,
Yeah.
you're saying, I'm going to make this work, even if I don't know how yet.
Exactly.
That's a pretty powerful mindset shift.
And they argue that this applies to any goal you might have.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's writing a book or starting a business,
Right.
or even just learning a new skill.
Yeah.
When you combine that belief in yourself with that unwavering faith, you create this unstoppable force that just propels you forward.
I'm already feeling more motivated.
I love it.
But I'm also curious, how do belief and faith play out in our relationships with other people?
That's a great question. And it's actually the next thing they dive into in the episode. They argue that belief is the foundation of trust, which is essential for any meaningful relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can't really have a strong relationship with someone if you don't believe in them,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. But as we all know, relationships aren't always smooth sailing.
Oh, no.
That's where faith comes in. Think about it like this. Conflicts and disagreements, they're bound to happen.
Right, yeah.
In any relationship. It's just part of being human.
Yeah.
But it's faith that helps us weather those storms, you know?
Yeah.
It's that belief in the other person, in the relationship, even when things get tough.
It makes total sense. It's
Yeah.
like you have to have faith that you can work through the hard stuff together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, every little bump in the road feels like a major crisis.
Right. And the episode actually really emphasizes this idea of vulnerability
Oh, okay.
being crucial in relationships. It's about being willing to take that leap of faith.
Oh?
Open yourself up, even though it means you could get hurt.
Oof. Yeah, vulnerability is scary. It's like walking a tightrope without a safety net.
It is.
But I can see how it would lead to, like, deeper connections.
Absolutely.
It's like when you let someone see your true self, flaws and all,
Yeah.
and they still choose to be with you.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's powerful. And it kind of brings us back to this whole idea of connecting to something bigger than ourselves,
Oh,
which the episode really emphasizes as being crucial for nurturing faith.
okay, this is where I get a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Does that have to be about, like, religion or spirituality?
Yeah.
Because I'm not really into that.
Not necessarily. It's more about finding something that gives you a sense of purpose and belonging, something that transcends your individual existence.
Okay.
It could be contributing to your community,
Right.
pursuing a cause you're passionate about, connecting deeply with nature.
Mhm.
Whatever lights you up, makes you feel like you're part of something bigger.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So it's like finding something that reminds you that you're not alone in the world,
Exactly.
that your life has meaning and purpose beyond just your own little bubble.
And that sense of connection can be a really powerful source of faith, especially when you're facing those personal challenges. It's like tapping into this wellspring of strength that's always available to you.
That's really beautiful. It's like even when things are hard, you can draw on this bigger energy to help you get through it.
Yeah.
I could see how that would be super helpful.
And you know, the episode doesn't shy away from the fact that faith can be challenging,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you're dealing with the unknown. They actually talk about some practical ways to build trust in those situations.
Oh, I need this.
Yeah.
Because uncertainty makes me spiral.
Okay.
What do they suggest?
Well, one thing they suggest is practicing patience
Okay.
when things feel uncertain.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we don't always have control over the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
but we can choose how we respond to that uncertainty.
So it's like instead of freaking out, just try to stay calm and open to possibilities.
Exactly.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
I hate it.
They also emphasize the importance of remembering that things often work out with time. Think back to a time when you faced a challenge, and it eventually resolved itself, even if it wasn't in the way that you expected.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Looking back, I can see how a lot of the things that I stressed about, they ended up working out okay,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't always how I planned it.
Right. And it's like having a little more faith in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Another really helpful tip they offer is reflecting on past challenges that you've overcome.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging how far you've come and recognizing your own resilience.
Oh, I like that. It's like creating a highlight reel of your own personal triumphs.
Yes, exactly.
It's a reminder that you've faced tough times before
Yeah,
and you made it through.
exactly.
That's a good confidence booster right there.
It is. And those experiences, they become part of your personal narrative,
Oh, yeah.
and they strengthen your belief in yourself and your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. It's like, hey, I've got this. I've done hard things before, and I can do hard things again.
I'm starting to see how belief and faith are so intertwined. It's like you need belief in yourself to take those leaps of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And then those experiences of overcoming challenges, like they reinforce your belief. It's a cool cycle.
Exactly. It's a constant evolution. And the episode actually reminds us that building belief and cultivating faith, it's not about reaching some final destination.
Right.
It's a lifelong journey,
Okay.
a process of growth and discovery.
That's a good way to put it. It's not about being perfect,
Yeah.
but it's about constantly striving to be a little better, a little braver, a little more trusting.
Precisely. And just like any journey, there will be ups and downs, detours, unexpected twists and turns. But it's that commitment to the journey that ultimately matters.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We shall.
Can we take a minute to like recap the main points?
Of course, yeah. We started by exploring that difference between belief and faith, highlighting how belief can actually be influenced by unconscious biases and those cultural narratives, and how it can actually be changed.
Right.
Then we talked about faith as that driving force that helps us move forward even when things feel uncertain.
Yeah.
Using examples of artists, entrepreneurs, even your own experience, starting this podcast.
Yeah. And then we dove into how belief and faith show up in relationships,
Yeah.
emphasizing the importance of trust, vulnerability,
Yeah.
and weathering those inevitable storms together.
Right. And we explored this idea of connecting to something bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
As a way to nurture faith, whether that's through community or a cause or nature, whatever resonates with you personally.
And we wrapped up by talking about some practical strategies for building trust and navigating uncertainty.
Yes.
Like practicing patience, remembering past triumphs, focusing on the process rather than the outcome.
Before we move on, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question inspired by the episode.
Okay.
They really emphasize this idea that faith is often nurtured by connecting to something bigger than yourself.
Right.
What does that look like for you personally? What brings you that sense of purpose, belonging, and transcendence?
That's such a good question. I think for me, it's that feeling of being connected to something vast and mysterious.
Okay.
Like when I'm staring up at the night sky or
Right.
listening to really powerful music, it's like, it makes me feel small,
Yeah,
but in a good way.
I get that.
Like my problems aren't so huge after all.
It's those moments of awe and wonder,
Yeah.
that can really shake us out of our everyday routines and remind us of the bigger picture, wouldn't you say? And it doesn't have to be some grand, life-altering experience.
Right.
It can be as simple as appreciating the beauty of a flower
Yeah.
or just feeling grateful for a kind gesture from a stranger.
I love that. It's like
Yeah.
those little moments of connection can be just as powerful as the big ones.
Yeah,
Maybe even more so because they're all around us if we just pay attention.
absolutely. And the more we cultivate that awareness,
Right.
the more we open ourselves up to experiencing faith, not as some abstract concept, but as a lived experience.
Right.
That's woven into the fabric of our lives.
That's so beautifully put. It's like faith isn't something you have to go searching for.
Mm.
It's already there waiting to be discovered in the everyday moments.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final challenge.
Okay.
Think about one area of your life where you want to boost either your belief or your faith.
Okay.
Maybe it's a goal you've been putting off,
Yeah.
a relationship that needs some TLC,
Mm-hmm.
or even just a general feeling of being stuck.
Right.
What's one small step you can take today to move in that direction?
Yes. It's time to put all this amazing insight into action.
Yes.
It can be anything from challenging a limiting belief to reaching out to someone you trust,
Yeah.
to simply taking a few moments to just visualize your goals.
Yeah.
The important thing is to start somewhere,
Yes.
even if it feels small.
You got to remember, even the grandest journeys begin with a single step.
Right.
And with a little bit of belief and a whole lot of faith, you can achieve anything you set your mind to.
So there you have it. We hope this deep dive into belief and faith has given you some new perspectives and maybe even inspired you to take a leap of faith in your own life.
Keep believing, keep the faith, and keep exploring that incredible power within you.
Until next time, keep diving deep, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Deep Dive.